Hey everyone, Pocky here, and I have some really exciting stats again from HSReplay, this time on quests. You may have seen on some of your favorite streamers' overlays that they now have a feature that shows quest average win rate, the average placement, some of the hero placements and stuff like that. So they've been tracking all this data, and we're happy to share the data on the quest rewards, agnostic of the heroes, the minion types in the lobby, any of that, just the raw data, and it is super interesting to me. And so I'm gonna break it down for you, and we'll bring it up right here. Here's the list. We have our list. It's sorted by offer rate. So predictably, you can see partner in crime offered very infrequently. There's a whole set of circumstances that have to be taken into account. So it's only in 0.1% of lobbies, but it does have the highest pick rate. Obviously, when you see it, you're going to pick it. And it brings up something very interesting that I want you to keep in mind as we go through the rest of these. The average placement is very close to 4.5. 4.5 is the average placement in Battlegrounds in general. Everything has to average to 4.5 because that is literally how many placements there are in a game. If you go from 1 to 8, you average it 4.5. So very close to average placement because in those lobbies, almost everyone is picking partner in crime. So that's going to move that to the average. Thus, when you have things that are more common, they will move closer to that 4.5 average placement naturally because of that weighting, right? It's closer to average. It's more average on average, so it's going to be closer to that 4.5. So we see that as we go down. A lot of the very commonly offered quests are near 4.5. So as we go through this, we're only going to look at the outliers, the aberrations to that average placement. Otherwise, I wouldn't put too much weight into it, and rather think about some of the other things that may move that average up or down, and use that to improve your understanding of why we would pick certain quests, why their placement might be like that, and how we can use that to improve at the game. So, Secret Sinstone, obviously the second most rare reward, only offered on a few heroes that can get it, so that's going to move that offer rate down, even though the rarity might not be that low overall. Because it's offered on so few heroes, your overall offer rate across the entire pool of heroes is very low at 1.8%. But when it's offered 75.8% pick rate, that average placement very high. Why is that? Because again, when you have a higher pick rate, more people are going to pick it just out of the desire to play something that's rare, not necessarily because it's good or it lines up with what you want to do. It's going to be a hard to complete quest, which means that the average placement is going to be a little bit lower. And we're going to see that here also with some other rare rewards that are picked very frequently in Ethereal Evidence, Pilfered Lambs, Wondrous Wisdom Ball. All relatively lower average placement rates when you think about the power level of those quests. They're very, very strong quest rewards, but they can be paired with very difficult to complete quests. And so oftentimes before you even finish it, you're losing the game. And so you really need to be very deliberate when you take those quests to say, is this completable in a reasonable time frame? And do I have a way to stabilize after I complete this quest? Mirror Shield we see also in that pool of very rare quests, Stolen Gold, Staff of Origination, and Yogtastic Tasties, all with sub 5% offer rates. So those are going to be the really rare quests that you're just naturally going to see picked more often. Staff of Origination, obviously not a high pick rate. It's not very exciting. It's very hard to complete. When you do complete it, it's very strong. But again, you just have to factor in how much time you have to complete it. Then as we move into the next pool of quests, we sort of have this 8 to 10-ish range of quests. So these are going to be the more common ones that aren't offered like every game. No quests are offered every game, but more common in Another Hidden Body, the Golden Hammer, Ritual Dagger, Kidnap Sack, Hidden Treasure Vault, Teal Tiger Sapphire, Friends Along the Way, Victim Spectre, Snicker Snacks, Essence of Xeris, Alter Ego, Sinfall Medallion, Blood Goblet, Theotar's Parasol, Evil Twin, and Devil's in the Details, as well as Red Hand in that range. So you are going to see a couple here that do have generally lower pick rates, like Devil's in the Details, Blood Goblet. Those ones are really low because they're not exciting to play. I don't know if you've been playing the same Battlegrounds games that I have. They're just not very dynamic quests, not very interesting. They give you stats. You have to position in a specific way. I personally don't think they're very inspired. I don't think you really play the game too differently. And because of that, they're not very exciting and they don't get picked. On the other hand, you have things like Victim Spectre, Essence of Xeris that have the potential of high rolling. Some would argue maybe too much so. Very high pick rates. Victim Spectre 55% pick rate. Essence of Xeris is 50.3. Kidnap Sack, very strong. Quest, Golden Hammer, sort of on that cusp range. Both have the potential to high roll. We see them also with high pick rates. We also see Hidden Treasure Vault with the lowest average placement. Now, it is a very interesting quest. It has the ability to be very strong, but it is extremely reliant on you finishing it early. If you don't finish it and have it active by turn 7, so on that turn 7 gold that you normally have 9 gold, that you're getting 10 gold at the start of your turn, it's going to be very hard to catch up with Hidden Treasure Vault, because not only are you missing that first gold, you're missing a gold every turn you don't have it active, and that adds up to a lot of gold. If you're getting it 2 turns later, that's 2 gold a turn that you're missing for the entire rest of the game. That could be 10, 20 gold. And I say this oftentimes when you think about gold efficiency and how you tackle being gold efficient when you're trying to improve. Look at Craig, not the best hero right now, but oftentimes that's giving you 8, 9 gold in a game. Obviously that's on 1 turn, but if you're talking about 10, 20, even 30 gold that you're not utilizing in a game, whether it's because you're rolling too much, freezing, or not activating your quest reward, you're playing without 1 or 2 like free hero powers almost. That's how much gold that is. It helps, really sink in how important it is to finish that quest early. So if it's not a quest that you can finish early, that quest reward isn't going to pay off. So you got to be very careful when you do take Hidden Treasure Vault. And when you do take it, you need to make sure that you play into it. You can't, it's not one of those ones that you can say, I'll get it when I get it. You need to get it early or you are not going to place well. That's what the stats are telling us there. And then the last set of stuff that I want to talk about are our lowest picked rewards. For our lowest picked rewards, we have Menagerie Mayhem coming in last. Volatile Venom, second to last. Tiny Henchman, third. Smoking Gun, fourth. And then Devil's in the Details, which I just said, very uninteresting. So these bottom 4 have a couple things in common. Volatile Venom, Smoking Gun, very lobby oriented. You want a lot of summons available to make the best use out of that effect. You can't just play anything. You can't just take them in any lobby. If certain minion types are out, they become much weaker. Volatile Venom, though, completely underrated. It is our highest performing quest. The average placement is far and away better than any others. So when you are taking it, if you can finish it, you are generally going to get a very, very good placement because it's so many stats. I mean, if you compare it to Ethereal Evidence, Staff of Origination, that provides a lot of stats. It's almost always going to be significantly more stats on your board than Staff of Origination, which is usually harder to complete. And because it has less payoff, isn't quite as good. And we see even then, the average placement on Staff of Origination is relatively good. But it's definitely something to look into, how to play into Volatile Venom, because it is an extraordinarily strong quest, maybe too much so. You should learn how to play into Volatile Venom, learn how to build your board around it if you do get offered the quest, how to complete it, how to ascertain if your quest is something like summon 8 mechs and beasts, if that's tied to something like Smoking Gun or Volatile Venom, because that quest is actually telling you to play into the quest reward, it actually becomes even better. And you should look into that when you're making these choices, right? If something like Teal Tiger Sapphire wants you to play demons, perhaps, maybe that is a win condition. If you have a hero that has a hero power that lets you discover that Fellbat, it plays into the quest, and that's gonna impact your decision making and which quest reward you're choosing in any given game. Looking into those synergies between your hero, the lobby, and the minion types available, as well as your board and shops, and the direction that you want to go with that quest reward. So that's Smoking Gun and Volatile Venom. Tiny Henchman, Menagerie Mayhem. These are terrible quests. People do not want to play them. They are offered the most frequently as we get to the bottom of our list here. I don't have anything to say. I think these quests should be removed. People don't like them. They're not fun. They are preventing more things from getting offered more frequently. Rarity isn't what makes those other quests more fun. The fact that they're dynamic and interesting is. I think we should really consider the fact that the highest offered quests are the first and third least picked. Absolutely a problem in my eyes. Smoking Gun, also just not interesting, as we see, with the third highest pick rate and the fourth lowest, the third highest offer rate and the fourth lowest pick rate. So definitely something for the Battlegrounds team to look at. I hope you guys found these stats interesting. Is there anything interesting that you picked out off of this data that I didn't catch on this brief overview? If so, let me know down in the comments below. If you like content like this, let me know. Let me know so that HSReplay will be encouraged to continue to give me these super cool stats that I love breaking down. Check out their website. There will be a link in the description below, as well as their tier 7 service, which does provide you access to the overlay that can give you access to these stats in game. It is a helpful tool, though there are ways it can be improved. So they didn't sponsor me to say that or anything. It's just, you know, it can be helpful to see the stats in game, but the important part is for us to learn how to utilize those stats effectively, you know. So don't just trust the stats. Think about why the stats are like that. That'll make you a better player. And if you do want more and want to know when I come out with more videos on Battlegrounds or anything else, please subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on this video so others can see it and we get more support, so we can continue to make content like this. And of course, as always, peace.